Okay. I don't know if you can see Shotzi, but she's been sleeping here. So if you saw what maybe looked like a pillow moving around, it was actually this little girl, Shotzi. Yep. She's my sweet little girl, my little bitty, bitty, bitty baby. Okay. So this, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, was also a book I got for Nick. And he was a little bit older. It's by Judith Viorst. Sometimes I just don't know how to pronounce these last names, so don't judge. Nicholas, your cousin Nicholas, his middle name is Alexander, Nicholas Alexander Schrader. I wanted to name him Alexander Stuart Schrader, but his dad would not let me, and maybe one day you can ask your parents why. It's a little adult as to why. It's a little too adult to talk about it. But anyway, so I thought it was funny because his middle name was Alexander. I don't know if you can see Shotzi scratching like a maniac. Dogs do that, just so you know, so that they can put their smell on. They have pads on their feet and their glands, and it has their smell on it. So she's trying to put her smell all over this blanket for reasons I don't know why she wants to claim it, but she is. She likes to do it before she lays down anywhere. She makes it hers. All right, here we go. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That is not a morning you want to have to start with. Gracious. Let's see. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast box cereal, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. Dang it. He didn't even get a toy in his cereal. I didn't even know. I didn't remember that Nick's first name was in here. So it's Nick and Alexander. Anyway, sorry about that. Disrupt the story. So Alexander says, I think I'll move to Australia. He's had it with everything this morning with all this cruddy stuff happening. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be carsick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. That's funny, invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang out loud. Or I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. Oof, that's painful. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend and that I was only his third best friend. It's not very nice, huh? I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone and lands in Australia. It's really hooked on Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with the almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had a little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in a dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I didn't put desserts in Nick and Charlie's lunches either. I wonder if this happened to them sometimes, or if they felt this way sometimes. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us to the dentist. Oh, gracious. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get to the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying cryberry, my mom came back with a car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. So I'd like to just insert here, punching is not cool at all. We don't hit people. We don't need to hit people. Unless somebody's hurting you or attacking you or trying to get away, you do what you can, but we never, ever, 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 ever hit people. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I told everybody. No one even answered. I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good way of turning the page. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy a plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. He's really getting upset, huh? When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. Uh-oh. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk. And I was careful as I could be, except for my own elbow. He said, don't fool around with this phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. Look at him. He's just like, help me. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. What is his hang up with Australia? Do you think we're going to find out? I hope so, because he keeps bringing it up. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I don't like my railroad train pajamas. Why, he is a complainer, isn't he? When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. What would you do if you were having a day like that? Would you be grumpy and mad and feel like nothing was going your way, or would you do something to try and change it? Like change the way you perceive everything. And instead of all these things being no good and terrible, maybe you could just laugh at them because they're just funny coincidences that just happen sometimes. Sometimes you just have goofy days. What would you do? What would you do with a day like that? Would you turn it around? Would you? Maybe you could talk about that. What you would do. All right, that's it. I am going to start reading a book called Watership Down. It was a book that my mom read to me when I was little, and it's a thick book, and there are no pictures. So you'll have to use your imagination, and I can't wait to start reading it to you. And I'm also going to do some teaching about plants, and we'll do some crafts, and we'll do some other things. This YouTube channel is yours, and I've made it special for you. I mean, you can share it with your friends if you want to, but it's for you. It's my love for you. So, all right, love you. Bye.